Uh, what is it that drives you?
So I mean, there are a lot of learnings from archaeology which I learned, which I can't speak on screen. But I think
Okay.
so. Another thing is that I'm colorblind, right?
Okay.
And I knew that I'm colorblind, but I didn't know how much it will affect me in archaeology. So I mean, this is the first time that I am excavating in Rakhigadi. So I am going with my batch, my classmates from Bandra to Delhi, Dehradun Express. And my first experience is 2 o'clock at night, the train burns. Like we are stranded in Dhanu. People die, like two compartments completely burned. And like that's the
Wow.
first time I'm like, maybe should I do archaeology or not, right? Now fast forward a few days, we reach Rakhigadi. Terrible cold, no water, no electricity, like I can't even see my food, and I'm so hungry that I don't want to see my food. Let's just eat it and go to sleep, right? And then when I started excavating, I I'm a juvenile asthmatic and I'm a colorblind. Now these two things, I mean, you can say it was my immaturity that I still wanted to do archaeology. But these two things were big limitations for me actually. So on site, I felt sick. I, I when I was sick, I went to Jeend, which was the closest city because there were no antibiotics available for like 50 kilometers from the
Wow.
excavation site. So I come back. Then when we are excavating, two major things in India, no, everywhere in the world you have to observe is that we get a lot of pottery. And Rakhigadi is a Harappan site. And in India, all the cultures, all the periods mostly are identified through the type of pottery we get. And the pottery is mostly identified based on shapes and color. Now, the color part is gone for me.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was so funny that I would go to my professor, Professor Shinde, the site supervisor, Nilesh Bhau, and Amrita ma'am, who was the other professor. I actually took a lot of modern pottery to them, ma'am, see Harappan pottery. And there was a time when all the people were like, "Tu mitti nikal.
Okay.
Color ka kaam humpe chhod de." Like I was literally like using my forearms and taking out all the dirt and sand. And the other thing is that in archaeology we need to see stratigraphy. Like when we excavate a trench, we have to basically mark and do some stratigraphy drawing. Now that is all either based on color and texture that you have to touch. So wherever I could make out that the texture is different, I was lucky. But a lot of time I just missed all cultural layers. So I think asthma and my color blindness. I mean, I again, like me being practical, I was like, what else can I do apart from this in archaeology?